This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP Network.
Are you ready to go the distance with Tricia's Disney pick? Or will Melinda deliver a Jurassic-sized knockout punch with her universal choice on this episode of Theme Park Throwdown? Hey everyone, we're both back in our respective studios, and welcome to episode 11 of Theme Park Throwdown with me, Tricia, at Tricia Travels on Facebook and Tricia Travels 85 on Instagram. And
hi, I'm Melinda. I am at Melinda's Magical Adventures on Facebook and Instagram.
And we have to kick it back a few episodes to episode 7, where we're going to share who won the Big Three Hotel. What is the battle called? I always forget. Who won? Is it that simple?
I guess. Wow. I just call it the Battle of the Big Three Hotels. So.
Y'all, I was up at 4 a.m. in LA time and flew home over more than half the country today. So my brain is a bit mushy. With that being said,
she's a little loopy.
The winner of the 3 big hotels was Universal. Bwah, bwah, bwah.
Heck yeah, express passes.
I really do think that sells it. Oh.
Step up your game, Disney.
Well, we'll see how we do this week with another exciting battle. We are going to be pitting festivals head to head, but instead of reading every item you could possibly order from the booths, we decided to give ourselves a budget of $75, and we're going to build a progressive meal as we work our way around the different festival booths. So I'm going to let Melinda kick it off. Take it away.
All right. So I am going to talk about Mardi Gras. Now, unfortunately, as of the date of recording, today is what? Today is April 7th, and Mardi Gras is over as of today. It did just end yesterday or the day before yesterday. So tribute store is closed. Food booths are closed. Medallion is down. They really got everything out of there pretty quickly this year. But I did get the pleasure of attending Mardi Gras just a couple weeks ago, like you guys saw, and trying a lot of the food and beverage items. And there are some real good ones on here. So a couple of the things will be things that I actually did try, and a couple of the things are things that I wanted to try while I was there and just didn't get the chance to because I was only in Universal for 2 days. So if we've got a $75 budget, I am going to start in Jamaica, which was the stand towards the exit of the Springfield area. It was right near the Bumblebee Man Taco and the train from Back to the Future. Not the train, the DeLorean. Sometimes the DeLorean's there. Anyways, in that area. But that was the Jamaica booth. And I'm going to talk about the Rasta pasta. The Rasta pasta was $8.49. It was penne pasta with colorful bell peppers and a jerk vegan coconut curry cream sauce. So it was a vegan item. This pasta was the best food I have ever had at any festival at any park ever. It was, it was so good. My friend and I both tried it because she ended up eating like half of mine because I was just singing its praises as I was sitting there eating it. And she was like, all right, you have to give me that right now. But it was absolutely phenomenal. It had a tiny little kick because of that jerk seasoning. But the fact that it was a coconut-based sauce then kind of balanced that out a bit. It had a little bit of sweetness, but it was really savory as well because of the bell peppers. The pasta was cooked really well. It wasn't, a lot of times like festival pasta can get overdone because it's been sitting under a warmer and things like that. The noodles can cook too much, but it was It was just so good. There was a really large portion. I know one trick that a lot of people were doing at this booth was combining this Rasta pasta with the jerk chicken that the Jamaica booth also had and just making one like really large Jamaican dish. I didn't do that because I'm not a huge fan of spicy stuff. So I was a little afraid of the jerk chicken. But this pasta was just so good. So you'll probably hear me talk about it several more times over different episodes because I'm going to be missing it. Hopefully, it's an item that they bring back next year because I'm going to be really, really sad if I never get to eat this again. It was absolutely delicious. From Jamaica, we're going to pop on over to Ireland. Ice booth was over across from Transformers and Mel's Diner, kind of in the park area under the large canopy. And this item is the fish and chips. I did not get to try this item. I did try something else from this booth, but I didn't try the fish and chips. Fish and chips are $16.99, beer battered and fresh fried cod served with chips and tartar sauce. So pretty traditional item that you're going to see at a festival, at a quick serve restaurant, something that's served pretty regularly. Although I did not try this, my friend that I was with had tried it on a previous visit, and she said that this fish and chips order was better than both the fish and chips in Epcot and the fish and chips that they have at Three Broomsticks and Leaky Cauldron. So I am kind of sad that I didn't try this one. And I guess the only reason I didn't try it is because I tried quite a few other items, and this is a larger, almost like meal-sized food item. So I just didn't have the stomach for it, to be honest. That was one thing that I wanted to try that I didn't get the chance to. But even if you did not get the chance to try this for Mardi Gras, you can still get this item now. As of yesterday, all of those items that were served at the Ireland booth for Mardi Gras are now semi-permanent because this booth, it's in the same location across from Transformers and Mel's, is now going to be known as Minigans, which is the mini version of Finnegan's and is kind of the temporary location for some of these items while Finnegan's is under refurbishment until they reopen. I believe it's the end of this year. So you can still get the fish and chips. You can still get the pretzel sticks and beer cheese soup, which I did try and it was really, really good. You can still get, I'm trying to think of the drinks that they had. They had the traditional Irish beers here that you could get. There was another beer with like Bailey's that, not beer with Bailey's, but another alcoholic drink with Bailey's. And I believe it was kind of like a take on a espresso martini-ish, if I'm remembering correctly. So you still can get those in this location, even though it's not a Mardi Gras booth anymore. And next we can head to Brazil. The Brazil booth was over in front of Animal Actors Theater. And this was the picanha. It was $13.49. The char-grilled beef sirloin cap steak, thickly sliced and served with a vinaigrette. This is another dish that I wanted to try but did not get to just because I was trying a lot of other things and I was there for a limited amount of time. But the reviews that I heard about this dish and seeing people walk around the park with it, it looked really good. The steak looked like it was really good quality. It looked like it was cooked well. It looked like it was fresh. One really great thing about Mardi Gras, especially this year, is that they really almost made a show out of cooking the fresh meats. You could see them grilling meats everywhere outside of all of these booths. Was a really good salmon dish at the, I'm trying to remember what booth it was at. I don't remember what booth the salmon dish was at, but my friend went nuts for it. And you could see them taking out these huge, like a half a salmon and spicing it and then putting it on these racks on hot coals. And you could just watch it cook sitting right there. And they would take this giant slab of fish then out of the rack, slice it fresh right in front of you and give you your portion. I was really just very impressed by how fresh everything was, and it was just done right in front of you like that. And I know that's really probably a very difficult undertaking for a quick service booth like this at a festival. So that was really awesome to see. But I did want to try that steak and mention that because I think that would be a good one to add to the list. Then we'll head over to Puerto Rico, which was in New York, across from the Mummy. The coconut flancocho. So this is a sweet item. Was $6.99. It was a coconut flan dessert with pineapple cake and a rum whipped topping. I love anything pineapple, and I am kind of iffy about coconut. I like it in certain things, but not in others. So I was kind of not quite sure how I was going to feel about this one, but it ended up being really delicious. Flan, if you're not familiar, is a like Latin custard dessert and kind of solidifies into, I guess if you want to think of like a creme brulee, maybe I would kind of relate the texture maybe to something like that. If you're not familiar, and the pineapple cake and the whipped topping were just really, really good. Had a lot of great spices in there, and that was a good sweet treat. My favorite sweet treat that I had was going back to Brazil, which again was out in front of Animal Actors. It was the maracuja mousse. This was $6.49. Passion fruit mousse with a passion fruit gelée on top. And it just came in this little like shot glass cup and was so delicious. It was a little bit of an odd texture because you had the mousse on the bottom, but then it had, I mean, exactly what it says, a passion fruit gel on top, but it had the seeds of the passion fruit in it.
Okay.
And passion fruit seeds are really large and they're very crunchy. And so having like this light, fluffy mousse that was almost cheesecake texture, and then having these giant crunchy seeds in it was a little strange and could be a bit off-putting, but the taste was so good that I didn't even care. That was the best dessert or the best sweet item that I tried at the festival. So I was really, really loving that one. I almost got another one, but then I decided I needed to have some beignets instead. Those were good, but they didn't make the list today. Then I am going to select an alcoholic drink and a non-alcoholic drink. So my alcoholic drink is going to be from the Daiquiri Deck, which was the really large bar that is in the Transformers extended queue. And this was the King Gator Bayou Blast. A single serving of this cocktail is $14, which was typically the price for most of the alcoholic drinks at the festival this year. You can always get the refillable cups, and you pay a little bit more upfront because you're buying the cup with your purchase. But then if you get refills of drinks, I think they were like $11 or $12 this year. So it was a little bit cheaper than buying the single serve if you already had the cup. But I only wanted to do one alcoholic drink. It was Cuervo Reposado tequila. Tequila is my favorite. I'm a tequila girl. Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, absinthe, lime juice, and honeydew syrup. So a little bit of sweetness in there with the honeydew syrup, but not super sickly sweet. And I think it was just really well balanced. It was pretty strong. You've got tequila and absinthe in there, so it's gunk you in the butt a little bit. But I figured since I was just having one, I could go a little bit, go a little bit harder. And I thought it was really good. My last item, again, is from the Daiquiri Decks. It's the Royal Street Refresher Mocktail. This was $9. And again, most of the mocktails that you could get at any of the stands were going to be about $9. Peach puree, strawberry puree, super sour, which is just a branded version of sour mix, and mint essence. And that was really good as well. Just kind of a nice, fruity, very refreshing drink to have while walking around in the parks. It was a good follow-up, I think, to that King Gator Bayou Blast because that was so strong alcohol-wise. This was a nice kind of like palate cleanser afterwards, almost kind of like eating a sorbet between courses of a fancy meal as a palate cleanser, especially with that mint essence was just nice and light and refreshing. So I really liked that one. And we did get news just today that the location of that bar, which was in the Transformers extended queue, is now permanent, and it is going to be known as the Creepy Concoctions and Frozen Beverages. It's going to be themed to the classic Universal monsters, which is interesting because it's like right behind where the old Monsters Cafe used to be. I don't know if you were familiar with that. Did you ever go there?
I vaguely remember that. It just seems weird.
You probably remember the statues spinning on top of the restaurant of Wolfman and Frankenstein. But yeah, so it's kind of bringing the classic Universal monsters back into that park, I guess, a little bit. So I guess that's maybe why they're doing this, kind of for nostalgia's sake. This stand is, like I said, it's now going to be permanent, and it is going to sell beer, wine. They'll have premium upgrades like a premium bar and frozen cocktails like pina coladas and margaritas. These frozen cocktails are going to be $17 traditionally. And then if you want to upgrade to a premium bar product, obviously that'll be an additional cost. And mocktail versions of these drinks will be $7. But if you want to get a frozen beverage in the park, because I don't think there are really any other areas off the top of my head that I can think of, at least, that sell frozen alcoholic beverages, unless you go to like Chez Alcatraz. You can go to Chez Alcatraz and get like a blended beverage, but I can't think of anywhere else that has frozen beverages like that. So it's kind of going to be nice to have an easily accessible stand where you can get these items now in the parks. But altogether for this meal, so I had 3 savory items, 2 sweet items, an alcoholic drink, and a mocktail. And my total was $75.45. I did not account for tax, so I might have cheated a little bit, and that's a bit of a budget buster, but it is what it is. And that's what I'm going with. And I'm really glad this year that I got to try as many of the items that I did. And I am going to be thinking about that Rasta pasta for quite a while. I might need to do some like searching online to see if I can find a recipe somewhere and see if I can try my hand at it.
Copycat recipe. So I have a couple questions. Do you feel like the portions were appropriate for the size, like the cost that you spent on the individual items?
For the items that I actually got, yes, for the most part. The only portion that I was disappointed by was the Ireland booth, the pretzel sticks and beer cheese soup. The pretzel sticks were great. You got 2 kind of decently sized pretzel sticks. They were pretty large, and they were really like soft and fluffy and nice. But the beer cheese soup was literally in a little 2-ounce souffle cup that they usually put dressings in. And it's like, that would make sense if it was purely like named and marketed as a dip for the pretzels. Yes. But if you are marketing this, I think the actual title of it was beer cheese soup and pretzel sticks. So this beer cheese soup, they're giving the impression is the main item, yet they give you this tiny little cup. And I was like, the hell is this? Like, it wasn't
a shot.
I think it was like $7. Right. I think it was like $7. So I don't feel like I paid too much for it for what I got, but that was just kind of strange. But everything else, especially the pasta, I was really actually pleasantly surprised with the cost versus how much food you got.
Okay. How often is food brought back year to year? Do you feel like if the Rasta pasta will be there next year, if people want to try it?
I feel like most of the
fingers crossed
will bring like one item back. Like maybe they'll bring their top seller back. And the hard part with Mardi Gras is too that every year some of the countries will stay the same. They're always going to have a Puerto Rico booth. They're always going to have a Mexico booth. But sometimes the countries can change altogether. So I can imagine they'll probably have a Jamaica booth next year. It's a very popular cuisine when it comes to festival food. So hoping that it comes back, but you never really know. Okay. There are some staples that always come back. Beignets always come back. Their drink is traditionally the hurricane or a rum punch of some sort. That's like the themed drink of the festival. But we don't really know.
And then my last question, how are the booth lines?
I think the only thing I waited for was the pasta, and I waited 3 minutes.
Oh.
Everything else. Yeah. And I will say that I was in the park on a Monday and Tuesday, and it was pretty low crowd levels for all the attractions and things like that. It was a relatively low crowd day. So I was very pleasantly surprised because I had just come from Disney and Epcot, and trying to get anything from the Flower and Garden Festival, it was like you're so turned off just looking at the lines that it's not even worth it for a lot of the booths. So I was very pleasantly surprised that I didn't have to wait. Sorry to
I think
step on your toes already before you even start.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, you were talking about them cooking the meat right in front of you, and I was like, the closest I've seen to preparation is when the pans come out from the hot box that was rolled from backstage somewhere.
Yeah, I was so impressed with that. Like, just seeing these giant planks of salmon being turned every 5 minutes on this spit that's right there. I was just like, holy crap, I'd never seen anything like it. It was really cool.
It sounds like a really neat experience to have with something like a festival in Epcot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been to Mardi Gras. I usually go to the parks at least once a year during Mardi Gras, especially because it lasts like 4 months usually. It's a little bit shorter this year, but it's usually a very long festival. So, this is the year that I pushed myself to try a lot more items and really get a better feel for the food part of that experience. And I was really happy with it.
I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad the food was good. I'm hoping that the Rasta pasta is there in the future when I happen to be in the park. I want to try that.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to hop over to Epcot before I continue to sell our audience on Universal here. And right now, the International Flower and Garden Festival is in full swing, and it runs through June 6th of this year, 2026. To kick things off, I'm headed to Yacht Grub booth, which is located on the walkway between World Celebration and the Canada Pavilion. So kind of behind the Epcot Mall. And I'm going to order the trio of dips and chips here for $6.49.
Yeah.
Can we talk for 1 second? Why does it have to be $49? We've done away with the penny. Just round it up to 50 cents, people.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what?
seriously.
That is kind of surprising this year that they didn't make that transition because of the penny.
It's just weird. But anyway, so you get these house-made chips. I love house-made chips. They're just like thicker and like more substantial than like what you get in a bag. And the dips include a whipped feta topped with candied lemon, a caramelized onion dip, and a pimento cheese and pickle dip, which I love pickles. So yeah, I would eat that one all by myself.
I'm a sucker for feta, so I'll take the first one.
And then I'm going to wander over to Magnolia Terrace, which is between the Japan and American pavilions. And I'm going to hit up their blackened shrimp po' boy for $7.49. I figure like you have a sandwich and chips. That seems like a good combo.
Perfect.
I love shrimp. Like every Christmas, my father-in-law does like the fresh shrimp on ice with the little like cocktail sauce. And my God, I could put away like half of that tray shrimp.
So good.
And I'd say Cajun or like Creole seasonings, like they can be spicy, but it's like a spice that it's not like chili where like that can really hurt me. So I'm a big fan.
Smoke in the back of your throat, but it's nothing crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. The other thing too, unfortunately, I feel like with the Epcot portions, oftentimes I'm disappointed But a lot
Yeah.
of times with the sandwiches, they're kind of dictated by the size of like buns, and they usually use like pretty normal sized
Sure.
buns. So I tend to go more for like a sandwich at these things because I feel like I get more for my money. And I like,
Oh, that makes
getting the
sense.
most out of what I'm paying. So, but of course, after having some Creole, a little bit of spice going on there, I'm going to swing over to citrus slushy, get a citrus slushy from the La Isla Fresca for $4.99. This is a
Yeah.
non-alcoholic drink. That's a combination of frozen lemonade and grapefruit juice with a little bit of simple syrup. You can find this booth between France and Morocco. And I like in the summer, because this goes till June, it gets pretty hot in Florida in June.
Yeah.
I like those slushy drinks because they cool you down. I think like citrusy flavors are really refreshing. A great thing too about this location is that you head to the back of Morocco. They haven't opened the sit down restaurant back there. And at this point, I don't know if they ever will. It's been closed since COVID, and that's been quite a few years now. But it's just quiet. People don't tend to walk back there, but that's a great place just to sit and get off of your feet and out of traffic because
and it can be kind of shady and nice back there as well. Yeah. No, that is a good almost like hiding spot sometimes. I agree.
Yeah.
And I also agree about the citrus slushies because that was one of the few. It wasn't that one. I'm trying to look through my pictures and figure out which one I had. I had two non-alcoholic slushes, and those were the only Flower and Garden Festival items that I got. One of them was a violet lemonade. And I think the other one, it was a botanical citrus slush was the other one. I don't remember what exactly was in it, but it sounds very similar to what you're talking about. And it was really delicious and refreshing.
Well, that's good to hear firsthand experience with that. A lot of the non-alcoholic beverages, you can have alcohol added to this. So if you wanted it with rum, you can get that. It does increase the cost to $12.25 though. So prices do jump when alcohol is introduced. So just beware of that. Then for dessert, I'm going to head to the Citrus Blossom, and I'm getting not one, but two desserts because I have a sweet tooth. And the first one I'm getting is the cinnamon beignets for $5.29. And this consists about 3 or 4 kind of like rectangular shaped beignets. Honestly, I thought they were fish sticks when I was looking over the menu at first, but they're not. They're beignets. And they're tossed in a lemon sugar. I mean, you can have lemon with fish sticks. Maybe not lemon sugar, but
maybe not the sugar, the cinnamon sugar. Yum.
So they are beignets tossed in cinnamon, lemon sugar, and then topped with a lemon glaze and a honey mead blueberry compote. And like everything about this just sounds delicious.
I'm a sucker for lemon blueberry combination. That is so good.
Yeah, I love lemon bars, like the ones that have like kind of like that shortbread crust. That's like my absolute favorite dessert. So I will take pretty much anything lemon. And the second one, speaking of lemon, is a lemon tart for $4.99, and it's got a lemon curd and a blood orange gel. There are no passion fruit seeds in this one though. And then there's a meringue with like dusted raspberry powder. I think it's probably like macerated, like freeze-dried raspberry that they put on top, just to kind of give it that little extra like tang or flavor. So if you are interested in anything from the Citrus Blossom, head over to the Odyssey building. This is a great place too because it's indoor. Usually you can find a table unless it's like peak lunchtime or whatever, and it can get really busy. But you can get in the air conditioning to cool off while you have some stuff from this cart.
That is usually my favorite stand of the festival because they always have the orange lemon slush every year. Apparently I like slushes in Epcot, but not alcoholic slushes. But I absolutely love that orange lemon slush. It is like one of my favorite things to get in the parks when I'm there. Actually, I've got the little orange bird cup. He's so cute. But you can usually get it in one of these souvenir cups, or you could get just like a single serve one. But I love Orange Bird. He's one of my faves. But I love that booth. It's awesome. And I feel like the lines in that booth are a little better sometimes because it's like hidden back in the building, and some people don't.
Yeah.
It's not as visible unless you're looking for it. So it's not like people are walking by and see the menu sitting there and they're like, oh, I have to try that, and go right to it. You kind of have to know that it's there.
I also feel like they tend to have more stanchions, so the line's more organized. Sometimes those the ones outside, there's like just one stanchion across the front, and so the line just sort of becomes this blob of people trying to like jostle to be next in line. So it can be a little kind of chaotic. But if you're keeping score at home, I'm a cheap date because I'm currently only at $29.25. So that means I can continue. I can continue grazing.
You got a long ways to go. Yes.
So later on, I'm going to grab the grilled street corn for $5.99 from the Beach Grub, and this is over by the Imagination Building. It's grilled corn smothered in a garlic and herb spread. They said it's plant-based. So it's probably more like a margarine versus a butter. Okay. But honestly, I will take anything, smothering corn pretty much. I just love grilled corn. It's something we eat a lot here in the summer in Wisconsin, but then we don't get it the rest of the year. So we tend to like go overboard when we can have it.
Is it like this dish, is it a cob of it or like a half cob or how is it served?
I think it's like a half cob, I believe.
Okay.
I obviously wasn't able to go this year. I was fraternizing with the West Coast, but based on the pictures, it looked like it was like a half cob or maybe like two smaller pieces about maybe 2 inches tall that were in a bowl that had been kind of, they're basically drowning in butter is what it looked like. Yeah. And who doesn't like foods drowning in butter?
For sure.
The other thing too, now I've I've taken in a fair amount of foods. So now I can absorb some alcohol without, getting totally wasted like people who drink around the world do.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when you're in the Guardians line and you're in the pre-show and he says, Epcottians, what are they called? And somebody yells out, alcoholics. For sake, shut up. Just stop. It's been done so many times. It's not funny anymore. Just watch the show. Sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
Unless you're a little kid, I spent a couple times we've been in that like pre-show area and like a little kid will be like, we're humans. And that's adorable. You can say that then.
That's cute. But no, that's cute. They can say that.
Yeah.
You have to be this tall to ride. And I mean under this tall, not over this tall.
That also goes though for like Haunted Mansion. Anything that has like a pre-show where people will like attempt to talk back, just don't. You're not funny.
Yes.
So,
or worse, don't sit there and like scream the script. Just can we enjoy it the way it's supposed to be enjoyed? I don't want to hear you. I didn't pay for a Disney ticket to hear you give me the Twilight Zone story. I need just drives me crazy. Okay. And my husband is so that person too. So I'm always like giving him a little
stand on the
jab
other
in
side
the
of the
ribs
roof.
on the mummy. Oh my God. So annoying.
Okay. Slight detour. Story time. I feel like the Haunted Mansion in Disney World, like they're very deadpan but they talk to you, and it's very like ominous. Out in Disneyland, not a single cast member said a word to anyone when we were in line. They just like, they were like very stone faced. And it kind of reminded me if you've ever seen Mickey's Christmas Carol and it's the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. And it's just like, he never says anything, but it's really ominous. That's the feeling you get. They're just like centuries along the way. And there was one person inside the stretching room. I did not see her. And I was like, my head was turned. I was talking to my daughter as we were entering. And then I caught like something and I was thought I was going to walk into another patron, and I turned and it was her. And I jumped and like clutched my pearls. And she just like, she was like standing there. And I'm just like, oh my God. That was terrifying.
That's awesome. They gotta have a little fun with it. Maybe they're not encouraged to like say those funny little quippy lines and things like that, like they are in Orlando. But I love that. That's part of the experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like when they used to on The Mummy, the team members on The Mummy used to get really into that role and act like they were possessed or they were, very unhappy with all of us subjects being idiots and getting on this ride. And they would like give each other the thumbs up, like to say that the ride is good to go and the car can go. And then you would look back at them and they would do the thumbs down instead of thumbs up with this very like stoic face. And that was always so fun. And I haven't seen somebody do that in years. So it's a little disappointing, but
somebody had to go and ruin
sign
it
of the times.
Okay. Anyway, back to alcohol.
Yes.
So I'm gonna top off my evening with a couple of drinks here. The first is at the Bauer Market or the Farmers Market by the German Pavilion, and they have something called Effel Schamwein for $10.75, and this is a sparkling apple wine with an added apple liqueur. I really don't drink a lot of sweet stuff. I do like sparkling sweet though. I think the sparkly is kind of like break it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So that will be the first thing that I sip on as I wander around. And then once I get closer to the space between where the Odyssey bridges come down and then where you'd enter Mexico, there is the Jardín de Fiesta for their margaritas. They have two there that both sounded wonderful. The first is a flower power margarita for $15. And it's tequila, orange pineapple juice, black currant lavender liqueur, which sounded really amazing. And then Empress 1908 gin with a rose petal flower sea salt rim. I was like, what is that?
Goodness.
That sounds pretty fancy. Like that was $15. But then the one I kind of was leaning more towards is $14.75. It's a spicy mango margarita. I love mango. So it's blended tequila, mezcal, mango puree, and a dash of lime jalapeno juice with a chili lime salt rim. So if you add up the corn and the two beverages that I opted for as kind of like evening snacks, that brings my total still to only $60.74, leaving a generous gap for tax. So, you could hit up both of our menus and I'll cover Melinda's tax and Universal for her.
I'm really surprised that many items didn't put you over budget. That's pretty okay, Epcot. That's pretty impressive.
I have to say, I thought the prices seemed more reasonable this year.
Okay. That's great.
In the past, I feel like the portions have been kind of disappointing, except for, like I said, the sandwiches.
Sure.
So I don't know, if they're more appropriately pricing items to what you actually get. I remember, it would have been Wine and Dine. My husband and I were there last year, and we got these beef tips, and you literally got 3 beef tips.
Oh, no.
It was like, it couldn't have been more than like an ounce of actual meat. And it was like $12.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was amazing. Like those 3 pieces. But I'm like, what the heck?
Of course. Yeah. Then you feel like you got to go buy 3 more so you can actually see what it tastes like.
Yeah. So just kind of some notes on that. The food tends to stay pretty similar. The booths tend to stay pretty similar for this. They do tend to swap out certain things that like there's like a Florida booth and like the citrus booth where it's more locally sourced. So those things might change. And then depending on when you're going, take a look at the menus because certain booths will have like an earlier menu and then they'll have a later festival menu with different items on it. And the change usually happens at like the beginning of May. So if you're, interested in like trying something, just make sure it's there when you will also be there. Yeah.
What's your favorite booth typically, or is there one that you have found yourself liking a lot of items at?
Well,
Don't say Italy.
No.
Nobody can say that.
Honestly, like, it's hard because I thought I was going to be really happy with the French booth in previous festivals, but like, unlike the being prepared right in front of you, the croissants were like really dry, telling me they'd been in a warming box for a while. So
Yeah.
that's one thing to be aware of, is that if you go later in the day, you might hit a booth that like stuff's not moving as quickly. And if you order it, yeah, it's safe and it's kept at temperature, but it also could be dried out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for like anything Asian and anything like Mexican. I like, honest to God. So
I'm like that with
pretty much,
Mexican too.
yeah, it's hard, but I would say like those are usually safe bets. I know that like the frushi in China is always a big hit. Okay, roll fruit around rice, whatever.
Yeah. I always think it sounds kind of gross. I don't like sushi to begin with, and I feel like combining rice with fruit is just not appealing in any way, shape, or form. So I'm always like, okay, it's cute, but you got to put it in your mouth. I don't want that.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, essentially, if it's like Instagram worthy, I tend not to eat it because it's usually just
it's probably
there for
not going to taste great. Yes.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you on the France booth. I feel like more often than not, when I'm kind of like picking an ideal menu or planning to go and trying to figure out what I for sure want to get, I'm always choosing one or two items from France because they sound so good and the pictures look great and it just sounds really appealing. And then I get it and I'm let down. And not like it's bad, like there's something egregious about it, but I feel like it never lives up to what I expect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of disappointing. And it is always one of the busiest booths. France is always nuts.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it is where it's located. If you're coming from the International Gateway, like it's one of the first, that's usually how people go, and it's one of the first booths. But I would say just keep walking back into the back of the pavilion and go to the patisserie back there and just hit up the bakery items there, because those are like better. And they're just better. Just go there.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the one item that you wish you could have tried this year, since you aren't making it for the festival this year? Either out of the menu that you chose or something else.
Well, I don't want to sound like a total lush, but I love margaritas.
You and me both,
so that would probably be the one thing, like the mango margarita. I would say like the beignets, because like I said, I have a sweet tooth. However, I have been to Cafe Du Monde in Louisiana, and that's like the real beignet. And so I'm sorry, Disney, none of your beignets will ever compare ever again to that.
I was going to say, do you let down every time you try a Disney beignet now, because it's you have this idea in your head of what it's going to be, and then it's not?
That's yes, 100%. Like we were in Disney, when we were in Disneyland, I was like, oh, they have beignets. And I was like, I'm just going to be sad. I'm not going to buy these.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad. I do like a beignet. I hate donuts. I don't like pastries. I am not a like bready person, I guess. But I tried those beignets at Mardi Gras and they were pretty damn good. I do think we got a really good batch, because timing matters. You don't want a cold beignet because they're icky and they get hard and meh. But I had some like really good, nice, warm ones that were absolutely covered in the powdered sugar. It got everywhere, but they were delicious. So,
well, I would be willing to give those a shot based on your recommendation. So,
yeah. And those are a staple every year. So. I didn't try any. I wanted to try some in Disney World, some of Tiana's beignets, but I didn't get the chance to when I was back there. So I'll just have to make another trip.
Oh, darn.
When is your trip? Now that you just got home, what's your next vacation that you have planned?
Never.
John?
Well, Theme park related, yes. Honestly, that is the next trip.
For those of you that don't know, Tricia's an HHN virgin, and I am so excited to drag her butt with me this year. I cannot
drink
wait.
a lot of those King Gator alcoholic beverages to get me through the night.
You can get your refillable cup. Now, is that going to make it worse or better if you're drunk going through these houses?
If I'm blackout drunk, I won't remember any.
I'm going to have to scrape you off the floor. Everybody stay tuned for those live videos. That's going to be so much fun.
Oh, Lord. I will say.
That's your next trip, though?
Well, we're going as a family. We're driving to Toronto this summer. I have a European trip kind of thrust upon me in the fall. So I do have a job that I should attend regularly. So I can't, I'm trying to be mindful of how I use my vacation days. So I really don't have any other Disney vacations planned. And honestly, I'm like the biggest fan. And my daughter's like, hey, if it means not being in school, I will be a fan of wherever we go. But my husband is the one that I've had to convince the most. And he was actually coming back from Costa Rica today after visiting family down there. He had a 5-hour layover at an MCO. And he's like, I have half a mind to leave and go to Disney Springs for a couple of hours. And I'm like,
we would.
Who are you? He's like, I miss Disney. And I'm like, really? No, who are you?
Oh, take advantage of that.
I am. I think, we technically don't have anything on the books for Disney. I'm a nerd, as you can tell. I like Star Wars. And next year in LA or Anaheim, there's going to be the largest Star Wars convention called Star Wars Celebrations. And it's the first time it's been back in the States in a while. And I'm really hoping to get tickets when they drop here, hopefully in the next month. And if that's the case, we'd be going back to Disneyland for a couple of days. They always do like Star Wars nights. They make the Space Mountain out there, Hyperspace Mountain, which, by the way, their Space Mountain totally sucks compared to Disney World's. I'm just going to say that now.
Really?
Send all your hate mail my way. But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I don't like it. It always feels, I'm sure this is for you with like Universal, like it always feels good to have like a trip on the books. And I don't have that. And I'm kind of feeling lost. So
I get that 100%. Like coming home from my trip this year, I felt so much better knowing that, okay, it's 6 months away, but I'm going to be back in 6 months and it's going to be for HHN, which is my favorite time of the year. And I'm just really excited for it. So I feel a lot better when I've got something else to look forward to, for sure. Well... What do you guys think? Did we score a hit and leave it in the ring? And what are some items that you did try and loved or wanted to try at either Epcot Flower and Garden or at Universal Mardi Gras? We want to hear from you. You can vote in our Who Won weekly poll on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Theme Park Throwdown on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube, where you can watch video recordings. We're not crazy enough to do live recordings yet. You can watch video recordings of these episodes.
We are alive. Does that count? We are alive when we record them. No?
That's fair. Yeah. But if you would like to see video content, check us out on YouTube. We're at Theme Park Throwdown everywhere. You can also shoot us an email at themeparkthrowdown@gmail.com. If you need help planning your next vacation, Halloween Horror Nights, reach out to Tricia and I. We know what we're doing. Single night tickets have dropped. Express passes have dropped. RIP tours have dropped. We are waiting probably like late June, July-ish is when they're going to drop multi-night tickets. So if you need help booking that trip or any other trip, you can reach out to Tricia or I at portkeyvacations.com. You can fill out a quote request or you can direct message either one of us or send us an email and we would love to help you plan your vacation. You can also check out all of our sister podcasts on our UUOP network. We've got the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, which as of today just hit their 15-year anniversary of their first episode, which is absolutely wild. So I have to give them a little shout out there. Congratulations, UUOP. You can listen to the Taste of Universal podcast, the unofficial Universal Great Britain podcast, the Portkey Passport, a Disney podcast for adults, the Theme Park Duo for your West Coast parks, Rush of Fear, an HHN podcast, Big Dumb Stuff. And you can also check out our new network partner, The Fudge Factor, on YouTube for their park vlogs. And that's going to do it for this throwdown, y'all. We'll see you next week in the ring.
Bye.
Bye.